Hey girl, welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about something that simply doesn't get talked about enough in my perspective. Actually, it barely gets talked about at all, and that is intimacy and eating disorders. Specifically, why intimacy gets completely blocked when you're struggling with an eating disorder or disordered eating. And girlfriend, I'm not just talking about emotional connection here. I'm talking about sex, physical intimacy, the bedroom, your relationship with your spouse or partner. And no, I'm not an intimacy expert, but here's what nobody tells you. Your eating disorder isn't just stealing your relationship with food and your own body, it's stealing your relationship with your partner too. So if you have little ears around, I suggest that you skip today's episode and you come back and listen to it later when you're solo. Let's get real today and dive in to sex, intimacy, and eating disorders. Here we go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsey Nichol, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. Let me just be really honest with you. When I was in the thick of it and my eating disorder was literally the relationship I was in, intimacy was one of the first things to go. And I didn't even realize it was happening. And maybe you're there today. I was in a relationship at the time, and looking back now, I can see how I completely shut down my partner. I wasn't emotionally connected. I wasn't really physically there. I just wasn't present. My body was so malnourished, so depleted, that sex was honestly the last thing on my mind. And when it did happen, I wasn't connected. I literally would lay there like a dead fish. TMI. I know, friend. But I just want to be honest with you. I was too busy thinking about what my body looked like, whether my stomach was flat enough, whether my partner could feel certain parts of me, whether he would make a comment about my rib cage, or whether the lights should be off or on, whether I needed to keep my shirt on, like whatever it was, I just couldn't be present. The reality was I wasn't experiencing intimacy really at all or connection. I was performing. And I was anxious. I was anxious the entire time, miserable in the action, which is so very sad and not fair. And here's the thing. This is so common. This is so common. And that is why I wanted to do an episode on it and be just completely transparent with you. Research shows that women with eating disorders experience significantly higher rates of sexual dysfunction, lower libido, avoidance altogether of any intimacy whatsoever, and massive increases of relationship dissatisfaction. But we just don't talk about it. We suffer in silence, we fake it, we avoid it, we make excuses, and our relationships suffer. And so today I want to answer the question, why is intimacy blocked when you struggle with an eating disorder? And what can you actually do about it? So there are multiple reasons why eating disorders completely sabotage intimacy. And I want you to understand, first off, that this isn't your fault. These are real physiological and psychological impacts of what you're going through. So reason number one of why intimacy gets blocked is your body is literally shutting down. Okay, friend? When you're restricting food, your body goes into survival mode. And guess what's not essential for survival? Ding, 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 sex, reproduction, and intimacy. Not an essential need for survival. Your hormones tank, your libido disappears, you might lose your period, your energy is non-existent. Physically, your body cannot prioritize sexual function when it's literally trying to keep you alive. And so research shows that women with anorexia and bulimia and other eating disorders have significantly disrupted hormone levels, which include estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all of which impact your sexual desire in the first place and the function of your body. And so if you have zero sex drive, if the thought of intimacy feels like a chore to you, if you're exhausted all the time and you don't really know why, this is your body telling you, I don't have the resources for this right now. Like, I don't have the reserves for this right now. Reason number 2, you're disconnected from your body in the first place. So when you spend every single day hating your body, criticizing it, punishing it with restriction and over-exercise, you disconnect from it. You disassociate. And here's the problem. You cannot experience pleasure in your body when you're not connected to your body. Okay? It can be temporary, but long-term, like the desire to experience pleasure is pretty much removed. And intimacy requires you to be living in your body, to feel sensations, to be present, to have that desire. But when you're trapped in your head, analyzing what you look like, how you feel, whether your partner's judging you, you're simply not present. You're not connecting. You're performing. And studies show that women with eating disorders report significantly higher body image concerns during sexual activity, which directly correlates with lower sexual satisfaction and complete avoidance. You cannot enjoy intimacy when you're worried about what you look like the entire time. Ask me how I know. Reason number 3, the shame of an eating disorder is paralyzing. Body shame doesn't stay in the mirror, right? It follows you into the bedroom and it joins you underneath the sheets. And when you're feeling disgusted in your own skin, when you think your body is wrong or bad or not enough, when you're looking at your stomach and judging it, how are you supposed to let anyone else see it, touch it, or be intimate with it? The shame is so heavy that many women avoid it altogether in terms of being with their partner at all. They make excuses, they shut down. I did this. I pulled away completely because being vulnerable and exposed when you feel shame about your body is terrifying. God forbid your spouse makes some sort of comment that is going to send you into left field. Reason number 4, you are emotionally unavailable. And here's what people do not understand. When you're consumed by an eating disorder, there is no room for anything else. I know that you can understand that. The eating disorder is your partner, unfortunately. And this was something that crushed me. And that's why I wanted to be super real and transparent with you today, because your entire mental and emotional bandwidth, it is taken up by food thoughts, by body checking, by planning, by restricting, by compensating. So you literally do not have capacity to show up emotionally for a real life partner. What I had to check in with myself in the thick of it was I was literally married to the voice in my mind. There was no way that I could get engaged to this guy that I loved so deeply because I simply had a really hard time maintaining both relationships. And I know that sounds a little bit odd, but you, sis, do not have the bandwidth to connect with your spouse when you have spent all of your energy connecting in your mind on how to control all the things. It is so hard to connect, to be present, to be intimate, beyond the physical act alone, but just to require emotional availability from you when your eating disorder is screaming in your head 24/7. Like, you're not available. You are in survival. You're in survival. Reason number 5, control issues prevent being vulnerable. And eating disorders are all about control. And intimacy, well, intimacy requires you to let go of control. Intimacy requires that you be seen, that you're vulnerable. It's surrendering. And it's allowing another person to come in and to see you, all of you. And if you can't let go of control long enough to eat a meal without anxiety, how are you supposed to let go of control in an intimate moment? It's not really possible. Yet we expect that of ourselves and we get frustrated at ourselves. And the same rigidity and need for control that shows up with food shows up with your partner, shows up in the bedroom, and it blocks your ability to actually have a good time. And so what does all of this mean for your relationship? Well, I'm not trying to go down into the doldrums here, but it means distance. It means disconnection. It means your partner might feel rejected or confused or helpless. They might think that you're just not attracted to them anymore. I mean, the guy that I was with was like, is something wrong with me? Are you not in love with me anymore? I thought our relationship was in a good place. Like, we'd been together for years. And he always thought something was wrong because I was avoidant. And maybe you feel broken. You feel guilty for feeling like this. I did. Like you're failing at one more thing. Like you can't do anything right. Not food, not your body, and not your spouse or your relationship. But here's something that I want you to lock into. This is not a personal failure. This does not mean anything about you. You are not wrong. You are not bad. This is a symptom of the eating disorder. It is a symptom. Just like restriction is a symptom, just like body checking is a symptom, blocking intimacy is a symptom. But the good news is that symptoms can change when you address the root cause. You can actually like sex again. You can actually like being in that experience. Research shows that as women recover from eating disorders, sexual function, desire, satisfaction, they improve significantly with nourishment. And recovery doesn't just give you freedom, it gives you intimacy too. So when you're thinking about like all of the things that you are going to gain outside of weight, right? Separate from weight, I want you to add intimacy to your list. And if you're sitting here thinking, my relationship is suffering and I don't really know why or what I can do better, recovery is the answer. Not just for your body, not just for food, not just because you need it, but for your relationships, for your libido, for your future best self. So now that you understand why intimacy is blocked, let's talk about what you can actually do about it. Okay, here's step number 1. I want you to check your intimacy temperature. I want you to get honest with yourself. Check your temperature. On a scale of 1 to 10, where is your intimacy right now? Not where you think it should be, not where it used to be, where it is right now. And maybe you're single, maybe you're not married. Predominantly, the women that I work with are married and they have relationships. Let's talk about other people in your life. It doesn't just have to be like physical intimacy. This is connection on any level. Yes, we're talking sex and a lot of these examples, but when you think about where you should be, not where you used to be, but where you are right now, how are you connecting with other people on a scale of 1 to 10? Now, if you're in a marriage or you have a partner or a spouse, I want you to think about it on a sexual level as well. Are you going through the motions? Are you avoiding? Are you anxious the entire time? Are you just emotionally checked out? Get real with yourself about what's happening because you can't change what you do not acknowledge. Step number 2, I want you to give yourself some grace and recognize that this is an eating disorder symptom. Stop blaming yourself. Stop thinking you're broken or you're wrong. Blocked intimacy is a symptom. Your body's depleted. Your hormones are disrupted. You're disconnected. You're consumed. This has nothing to do about not loving your partner enough. This isn't about being inadequate. This is about your eating disorder stealing one more thing from your life. Name it for what it is. I remember when I was not wanting to be physical at all with the guy I was dating at the time when I was really, really struggling in the trenches. And my doctor pulled me aside and she was like, Lindsey, you've lost your menstrual cycle, okay? Which means your body literally cannot reproduce. Like you can't get pregnant right now. Your body does not have the ability to sustain another life. How do you think you are going to show up sexually? Right? Because I had all these questions for my doctor. I was like, what is going on with me? I'm just not into it. I don't know what's going on. But the reality was this was a symptom. My body was struggling to survive. It was struggling to keep myself alive. It wasn't worried about pleasure or reproducing. Name it for what it is. Step number 3, bring it into the light and talk about it. Actually, that is part of intimacy. My husband and I, we regularly do marriage counseling. We think it is a non-negotiable in our marriage, and we have for years, just so that we have a safe place to always discuss things. We haven't always thought this way, believe me, but we used to think it was something that we went to after there was a problem, right? We need to talk it out with a therapist. Now we look at it as a place to help prevent and walk through when those things may occur, right? Let's get ahead of it. Let's talk to each other about it in a place that is safe. But the most important step is to create intimacy and talk and communicate. And in our marriage, that has been like the hardest thing, was that we are pretty much the same human. And so communicating can be hard. If you bring to your spouse not in the moment, not during intimacy, but in a calm, safe space where you can be honest, this can help. This can help bring intimacy just by communicating. Hey, I need to talk to you about something that's been hard for me. I've been struggling with my relationship and my body for a while now, and I know you know that, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't know that. And it's affecting our intimacy. But what I want you to know is that I know it doesn't have anything to do with you or how I feel about you, but my body is depleted. My hormones are off. I'm all out of whack, and I'm having a really hard time being present and enjoying this because my body is really trying to heal itself. But I'm working on it, and I need you to know what's going on. Sis, you don't have to have all the answers. I know these are super awkward conversations, but the reality is that the guy that I was dating way back when, that I almost married, would have loved to have known the real truth, not just experience the avoidance, right? You have to be honest about what's happening. And that is something I wish I was honest about. I wish I would have said to him, like, this isn't about you. This is about me, and I'm working on it. Step number 4, start small with reconnecting. You don't have to fix everything overnight, right? You're not going to. And that's putting more pressure on yourself. Maybe it's just a physical touch that's not sexual. Maybe it's holding your partner's hand or cuddling on the couch or giving him a hug. Reconnecting with non-sexual physical intimacy, if that has not been a highlight, is important to do first. And maybe it's just being honest when you're not in the mood. Instead of forcing it or avoiding it, it's sharing with your words, using your voice. I say that all the time. Let's use our voice. Staying in your body during intimacy instead of in your head is something that you can start with, okay? And it's important that we just start. We don't have to have all the answers. The next step is working on your acceptance of your body. And I've talked about this in many episodes and a couple of the recent ones, so you'll want to go back to those episodes. But you don't have to love your body to be intimate. That is not what I want you to take away from today's show. But you do have to accept that your body is allowed to exist and to be touched and to experience pleasure. It is something that God blessed us with. This can be work though. This is coaching work. This is recovery work. But the more that you work on accepting your body, not loving it, just accepting it, being neutral with it, the more available you will be for an intimate connection with someone else. And lastly, step number 6 is to prioritize your recovery. If you want intimacy back in your relationship, in your life, if you want a high libido, if you want to experience pleasure, because the eating disorder is the blocker, you have to prioritize yourself. Get support. Work with a therapist, a dietitian, a coach. Join the Recovery Collective. Recovery doesn't just give you freedom and body peace. It will give you your marriage back if this is an area that is truly a struggle. So girl, if you're sitting here recognizing that Ed has stolen not only these other things, but intimacy from your relationship, I want you to know that you can change this. It's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen. You can heal your body. Your hormones can regulate. Your libido can come back. Your ability to be present can and will return. And your connection with somebody that you love, it can become deeper. But it requires commitment. It requires honoring. It requires working through the hard things. It requires being vulnerable enough to talk about what's happening. And I know those requirements are scary. And I know those requirements feel impossible, but you're not alone in this. I would love to support you, friend. I offer one-on-one personalized recovery coaching where we work through all of this together in a non-judgment free zone. The food piece, the body image piece, the relationships, all of it. You can go right now to herbestself.co and fill out a client application and get on my calendar. Your relationship deserves that you show up fully. Your partner deserves you being present, and you deserve to experience intimacy. Only recovery is going to give you that, friend, but I'm here to help you get there. Until next time, check your intimacy temperature, talk to your spouse, start small, and prioritize you. You've totally got this. Bye for now, friend. Hey, friend, before you go, I just wanted to invite you in to our private support group where we work together every other week to show up for each other, provide accountability. We also have the opportunity to connect day after day over chat to keep each other accountable. It is $97 per month, and I'm so excited to be welcoming new members. If you would like to learn more about the Recovery Collective and join us, you can go out to herbestself.co/recovery collective. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.